Hello, my name is Lisa Hayward, and I'm joining you again today from the DOE, the Office of Student and Emotional Wellness. Today's talk is about the Back to School guidance document, and it's specifically about the virtual learning environment, culture, and climate. So I am going to share my screen with you. If you can just hold on, and I'm pulling up my presentation. Alrighty, so here we go. So over the next half an hour, we're going to be talking a little bit about remote hybrid learning practices specific to virtual culture and climate. This is in context with the New Hampshire grades K through 12 back to school guidance for fall 2020. And section 5, A1 and A2 are all about how to integrate hybrid capacity into the learning environment, pre-planning for hybrid and remote learning, hybrid instructional considerations, and remote instructional considerations. My overview today is we'll talk about how to create a safe learning environment, hybrid and online, replicating brick and mortar expectations for virtual behavior, your leadership and modeling as educators, how to establish positive standards, a little bit about a netiquette, student consequences for their behavior in writing, and we'll close with looking to the future. So first of all, many of you are wondering, can it be done? Can we create a positive, healthy learning environment remotely and hence hybrid? The good news is that 20 years of research and best practice for managing virtual student behavior has shown that the most effective approach to a sound and solid and healthy learning environment is strong preventative efforts. So the next slides are relevant for both hybrid and fully remote online or distance instruction. So you've probably seen this slide before if you've worked with me in the past. Unknown and inconsistent learning environments feel unsafe. And when students feel unsafe, when boundaries are not clear, when there's inconsistent reinforcement, you've all got fertile fields for student disruptive behavior. On the flip side, consistent and predictable environments feel safe. Consistent reinforcement, clear expectation, verbal and in writing, promotes positive behavior and a positive climate. The best behavior happens when students feel safe. We all know that students know what to expect in a brick and mortar school environment, but they might not know what to expect in a hybrid or a virtual environment. So the more you can do to recreate consistent or create consistent expectations in the hybrid or the virtual environment, the better students are going to feel and behave. So how do you create consistent and positive expectations in the virtual classroom? And I think really the bottom line here is be clear to all of your students that the same standards apply regardless of how or where the instruction happens. So if you're learning online, if you're learning in the classroom, or if you're learning in a hybrid environment, you've got the same positive expectations for behavior. What do I mean by this? In the brick and mortar classroom, good behavior results in positive or neutral consequences. Bad behavior or negative behavior, if it's not reinforced, results in punishment. Disruptive behavior has got a negative reinforcement. And I've included absence in this slide. If a student is absent from the learning environment, you'll possibly question them. If you know why they're absent, you might be more varied in your response, but you'll still respond to their absence in one way or another. Through your leadership, students will see that you're in control, and as soon as they know you're in control, they're immediately going to feel safe. So make sure you respond to positive behavior Make sure you respond to disruptive behavior, and be sure to respond to absence in the virtual environments, just as you would in the face-to-face environment. For students, visual elements of modeling in the hybrid and remote environment are very, very helpful. And you use all of these visual aids in your traditional face-to-face classrooms too. So provide visual aids for students. You can download free little graphics from anywhere online if you just do a search. Make sure that all of your expectations are written in the classroom so that students can access them very easily, and find ways to manage without body language. For any consequences, for positive consequences or negative consequences, make sure that it's all in writing and that the students know where to find the consequences for their behavior. In your written expectations for behavior, make sure your guidelines are simple, clear, very visible, and if possible, make sure that parents have access to them, as technology-free as possible, comparable to written expectations in the classroom, and above all, I've said this before, visible. So in case you're wondering what I mean by technology-free, you can simply say your written expectation is to behave in a positive way and not interrupt students if they're talking. Students don't need any additional technology to know that they shouldn't interrupt if you're meeting on a Zoom session. The best practice for student behavior guidelines is a document called the Netiquette. The Netiquette is a combination of the word net from the internet and etiquette. And it just means respecting other users' views and displaying courtesy when posting your views to an online discussion group or in a virtual classroom. So establish some Netiquette guidelines, go over them with your students when you meet them in the classroom at the beginning of the school year. So they do know what to expect if and when we end up going remote. In practice, your Netiquette should probably have 5 to 10 rules. You can decide what they are. There's really no right or no wrong. It's what you feel that you want in your students' expectation in a virtual or hybrid environment. In your Netiquette, consider the appropriate use of language and tone, so make sure it's age appropriate. Establish your expectations for grammar, punctuation, text, fonts, and color. Respect and consideration for other students. Determine if you want students as they get older to be able to use sarcasm, humor, and post jokes. Consider how you're going to address issues of privacy and information sharing outside the class, and also provide plagiarism guidelines to your students. So here are some examples of clauses that you might use in a Netiquette. You might have a section called language and tone. You might write, "It's easier to be hurtful online than it is in person. Think about what you're writing and how your words might be heard by your teachers and classmates. Tip, if you wouldn't say it to someone's face, don't say it online either." Consider having a clause in your Netiquette for grammar and spelling matters. You might say, use formal writing, formal language in our online class. Your written communication should reflect proper writing style. Don't use written shortcuts. Follow grammar rules in our virtual learning space. And again, I'm going to bring you back to making sure that these are all age and developmental appropriate. You might have a clause saying, make your point in a nice way. Be aware of strong language, all caps, and exclamation points. It's easy for written text to be read and misunderstood. Be aware of forceful and strong language and avoid using it. Disagree politely. If you're working with older students or students who are already citing their works, have a clause that says, use resources ethically. Cite your sources. Whenever you're sharing an idea that originated from someone else, even if it's not word for word, cite that source. This applies to discussion forums too. Be careful with humor and sarcasm. And here's an example I found on the internet. Certainly you shouldn't avoid being funny. We love to see your personality shine through in online classes. Many of our teachers are exceptionally funny too. Make sure that it is clear you're being funny and not being rude. Emoticons and smileys can be helpful when conveying humor or sarcasm so that it's read correctly. Just remember to keep smiley faces away from academic papers. And finally, I've got live sessions count. So in the event that you're having Zoom live sessions with your students, you might want to remind them, be respectful of private places. We all come from diverse backgrounds. Our homes look and feel different. Don't talk or write about things you see in other people's living spaces. Don't judge. And I've lastly got a note saying cameras are not required. Many students experience a lot of trauma when they're required to go live on a Zoom session. They might not want to see themselves. They might not want other students to see their homes. They might simply just have an incredible aversion and traumatic response to having to be on a camera in a live session. So consider not requiring students to actually turn the camera on. Some references to visual aids that you can post in an online classroom, in a cyber classroom. I think Canvas is up and coming in New Hampshire. Before you think, is it true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? N, is it necessary? And K, is it kind? So there are all kinds of visual aids like this that you can Google and cut and paste and take screenshots and pop in your virtual classroom. So moving along from the Netiquette, reinforce positive behavior openly in hybrid and online learning environments. An intervention when prevention fails, make sure that the moment you see a student displaying behavior that's not acceptable or appropriate to you, make sure you intervene swiftly. You can be sure that the other students in the virtual environment are watching and paying attention. And when they see one student misbehave or do something that's inappropriate, they're going to be watching you to see how you react. And if you as an educator respond to that immediately and swiftly and in line with the written consequences that we spoke about earlier, it's going to prevent them internally, it's going to inhibit them from equally misbehaving or doing inappropriate things. So when prevention fails, intervene swiftly, concisely, consistently, and in accordance with your written consequences. Consistency is really key here. Students are always watching. They're paying attention to what their peers are doing. They're paying attention to how educators, teachers respond to their peers. So make sure you intervene consistently. So if one student does something and you apply consequences, make sure if another student does the same thing that you apply those same consistent consequences. And pretty soon you'll have a very well-behaved group of kids. If a student is absent, you need to respond. And there are a number of ways that you can respond depending on why they might be absent. Students might be sick. You might not know why they're absent, but certainly as soon as you notice a student absence, reach out to them privately and find out why. It might be something as simple as a technology fail. It might be something more complex, such as they are experiencing trauma and challenging times working remotely. But reach out. They're going to want to know that you care about them, and reaching out when they're not present is the first thing you can do to show them that you care about their well-being. So what happens if you see active disruptive behavior in a student or more than one student? It's always good to reach out privately to the student if you feel it's necessary to keep something in confidence. But I also encourage you to consider reaching out openly if disruptive behavior is a learning opportunity for all students. So for example, let's say you're in a live Zoom session and one of your students is on his, her, or their phone. You've told them they shouldn't be on the phone. Your Netiquette says no phones allowed when we're in a virtual environment. So you see your student, he, she, or they has got their phone up. You might want to openly say, hey, Lisa, put down your phone. You know, in the Netiquette, we have all agreed that we will not be using our phones. Next time I see you with your phone, you're going to have the following consequence, whatever it is. So make sure that you considered the situation and determine if you should reach out privately to the student about a disruptive behavior, or if you should reach out openly to them as a learning opportunity for other students. Now, one of the things that I really think is really important and relevant is, as you plan the future for hybrid and online teaching environments that may happen as the academic year progresses, start thinking about if you want to create a Netiquette with your class, with your students at the start of the school year when you actually have them in a live environment. If you have more than one grade, like you've got 3 grade 4s or 3 grade 5s, decide if you want to get all of your teachers together with your students, considering correct social distancing, and create a grade-wide Netiquette. So students have got a fair amount of consistency. And if you're using an LMS like Canvas, you can build your Netiquette in as part of a learning contract with your students that they have signed at the beginning of the school year when they met in person. So you don't have to wait until you go online or hybrid to actually create a Netiquette. Sometimes it's a great idea to do it with your students early on when you're together. And in the event that you go live, that you go virtual, the students will know exactly what to expect because they've been part of the creation of such a document. So have your students write an etiquette. You might want to have them do it as an independent assignment, as a jumping off point. You might want to give it to them as a group assignment, and then you can have groups come back and report out on what they think is important for virtual behavior. Prevention is best for most students. We here at the DOE, at the Office of Student and Emotional Wellness, we're here to support educators, and we want you to be successful. We want you to focus on student emotional wellness and behavioral wellness, regardless of the environment that you're teaching in. We've created these sessions for you in the hopes that they'll be beneficial for you. So I'm stopping my sharing now and I'm coming back here. So that's my overview on creating really a positive climate in a virtual and online classroom. We've certainly got other resources on our YouTube channel. We look forward to working with you in the future and hope you have a great day.